2020 Sex with Charli. Hi, people. We have the wrong playlist going, but I'm gonna get that straight away while I try to talk with y'all. So bear with me. However, welcome to 2020 Sex with Charli. I want y'all to say, first of all, Happy New Year. And welcome to a new motherfucking decade. Okay. So, today, what are we talking about? What the hell are we leaving back in the last decade? Like, what are you trying to leave behind relationship-wise? Relationship edition. What are you leaving back in 2020? The decade behind us. 2019 to 2010. You went through a lot of bullshit. You went through some shit that you like, I am never, ever gonna go through again. And I refuse to bring that into my new decade. So what are you letting go of? What are you saying no more to in relation to this current decade? Not even just this year. This decade. What BS relationship situation are you leaving back in 2019? In the last decade? What are you never, ever going back to? Like, what are you leaving behind? I know me. I've been through a lot of shit in the last decade, okay? From having a baby, to being with my high school sweetheart, to feeling insecure, to things that have not made me feel good at all. Hey ladies, hey gentlemen, hello everybody. I have left behind a lot of shit in the last decade, and I have to keep promises to myself. That's one of the biggest things I am going to try to do for this next decade. Yes, this next decade, not just this next year. If I make a promise to myself because I find myself worthy, as you should, for yourself, I'm going to start keeping promises to myself. And it feels like that's an obvious thing that you should do as a person, and especially a person with integrity and, knowledge and wisdom and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's so hard because we're still human, and we bend to the wills of others sometimes. And unfortunately, it fucks us up, okay? It gets us to the point that we feel so obligated to other people that we lower our standards for others. For ourselves. So, with that being said, the question is, what are we leaving behind in the last decade? We are here in 2020. And what are we leaving behind? Let me hear. Let me talk to me. Tell me what y'all leaving behind. So, just to keep the conversation going, I am leaving behind fuck niggas, that's for sure. These last 10 years, I have had my fair share of F-boys, and I'm good in this next decade. Like, I think I'm full. I need to know more, okay? That's definitely something I am leaving behind in the last decade. I'm also going to leave behind... what am I leaving behind, y'all? Y'all give me some options of what y'all leaving behind. I'm definitely leaving behind insecurities. Meaning, if you are putting me into a space to make me feel insecure, you're donezo in my life. I can't be around you. I only need people, and I don't care who I'm talking about everybody, relationship-wise. And when I say relationship, I mean like, mother, sister, cousin, brother, best friend, ex-best friend, like whoever. If I am feeling like you are creating insecurities in me, cut. I left you back in 2019. I left you back in 2010. I left you all the way back then. Like, I'm sorry. We went through enough. I've been through enough. no more insecurities, no more people making me feel bad, and it's important to do that for yourselves to some degree. What y'all saying? A broke mindset. That's great. That's for sure. We are leaving that back in the last decade. That's some bullshit. A broke mindset will definitely F you up, all right? So, yes, we are thinking love and prosperity. That's my toast for the next 10 years. My toast to everything will be love and prosperity, love and prosperity, love and prosperity, love and prosperity to us all. That's what I am bringing into this new decade. But we are talking about what we're leaving in the last decade, relationship-wise, okay? What no more toxic relationships. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I mean, obviously, this is Sex Talk with Charli. So we are, it's going to get a little, we're going to talk about good things in good and bad of love, lust, and relationships. Like, that's what Sex Talk with Charli is. It's all about love, lust, and relationships. But it doesn't only have to be romantic relationships. As you all know, my background is in marriage and family therapy, so I'm all about the unit, okay? I'm all about the family unit in relation to exchanges of interactions, and that includes with, your parents, that includes with your siblings, that includes with cousins and friends, that includes with your circle, whomever they are. So it's not just relationships, romantic relationships that we talk here. We talk all relationships. So I want to hear your thoughts. I love the broke mindset. That is something that is unfortunately deeply instilled in a lot of us, especially as people of color. And, that is something that we have to kind of like unclog out of our systems. Because that's what essentially what is generated, is a situation that makes us feel clogged when we have this mindset of we're broke or we're poor or whatever the case is. But the situation is, what are we doing? What are we leaving behind? And the last decade, relationship-wise, that's what we're talking about. So if that mentality, a broke mentality, has kind of put you in a space where you're not achieving much in relation to like family, you're not achieving much in relation to yourself, which will, disable you to be able to achieve a lot for your family. If you don't have the mindset that you are prosperous and you are, moving up in a positive direction, and that money, and know how to manage money, and knowing how the rules of money, and knowing how to navigate yourself in the space of, not only just money, but wealth, because wealth is important, but we're not talking about that particular subject, because I can go on and on about credit and how to fix your blah, 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 but because I do have that knowledge set as well, but we're not going there because we are talking all things love, lust, and relationships. And that is important in relation to what are we leaving behind in the last decade. Like, what are we doing? What are we leaving behind? Talk to me, y'all. Relationship-wise, I gave some disclosures about some things that I plan on leaving behind for sure. Hello, everybody. Let me say hi to everybody. But what we're leaving behind for sure is toxic relationships. And we've used these words on several occasions. Oh, okay. Balance, hustle, grind, and you're leaving being romantic back in the last decade? Well, damn, that's fucked. Are you bringing that forward, or are you leaving that backwards? Like, you leaving that in the past? balance, hustle, and grind and being romantic are we leaving that in the past, or are you bringing that forward? What's happening? Talk to me here. Like, I don't get it. Because I hope to God romance isn't dying. Like, God, it's tragic. It's fucking tragic. I think that it's so funny because I think I'm gonna put out this and I don't know what you are, Kevin Nosta. What's your name? Kevin Monster. Okay, Kevin Monster. I just looked at your name. So as black people, it is honestly becoming more and more common for that romance and that chivalry and that whatever you want to call it from a woman's stance, that matriarch, I don't want to say matriarch, I don't know what you want to call it, but in terms of, oh, okay, so you're bringing it forward. You want a balance. Okay. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a sense of, from a woman, it's the opposite of chivalry, whatever it is, like in relation to like giving, respect and love and caring for your partner. And it's more about what can you give me? 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 Versus like, this is what I can give you. This is what I'm offering you. And vice versa. That shit is slowly and surely fucking dying. And that shit's scary. Let me tell you why it's scary. Because, see, my mind always goes systemic, okay? And this is the therapy portion of it for you guys. My mind always goes systemic in the stance of why the black family is not thriving, why the black family is not, continuing to be together. As much as we're progressing as a culture, that portion of things is still deeply rooted and broken. And obviously, it's not by accident. Like, that was very much deeply rooted inside of us from slavery times, to break up the black family. And it continues to be systemically implemented through the welfare system, through different various systems, and especially in relation to like even mortgages and things like that, is very deeply rooted in trying to make sure that the black family does not thrive. And to see black love as an anomaly, and it's kind of fucked up that it's an anomaly and it's not a standard and it's not the norm. And but the point is that essentially when these deep-rooted things are systemically inside of us, we end up showing the symptoms of it even without our acknowledgement. So, my point is that Kevin Monster, okay, the hardworking man, it is romantic. Don't get me wrong, and that's the problem, is that that's no longer being valued as a thing. And it's on the vice, and it's on the opposite end too. What we're glorifying, what we're magnifying is these niggas and these bitches fucking winning. And they're treating themselves like niggas and bitches. And that's what we're idolizing right now. And I had a talk a long time ago about the difference between niggas and men and bitches and women. Like, these are the differences. There is a complete and utter difference. And unfortunately enough, we are idolizing the niggas and bitches. Because the niggas and bitches are the ones who have the money. When people say these hoes be winning, these niggas, like hood niggas with all this money and stuff like that. And it's not even the fact that, they're winning, but that's how it looks. That's how it appears. That's what the gimmick is through social media, through newsreels, through all these different things. It is displaying as, this is what you should be. This is what you should live up to. This is what you should, try to achieve. And slowly but surely, it's killing the black family. Systemic racism wins again. And to even prove it, I was actually given this radio or YouTube, what's it called, video to look at, where somebody, it was a man, and apparently the guy who sent it to me, like, of course he says he doesn't believe what was being said, but you didn't send it to me for no reason. Like, the fact that you send it to me means that you must believe what the fuck is being said. But anyway, let me tell you what it was saying. It was basically saying, like, as a man who's affluent, or a man who, as a man who's affluent, you should not give your time or effort to any woman at all. And essentially, you should be dating casually. What do you say? Casually and occasionally. And that's how you should be interacting with these hoes, these bitches. And again, this is all women that this person is talking about in this YouTube video. It's all women. According to his concept and his theory, all good women that doesn't exist anymore. All women want is money, and that's it. And so essentially, to keep yourself okay, you just date casually and occasionally. That's the whole theory. And as I was listening to that shit, I was like, oh my God. The black family is doomed. Because on the opposite end, they teaching the women, fuck niggas get money. Systemic racism wins again. And that's a part of my mindset that I'm leaving back. And 2000, the last decade, like, I am believing in love, because I know love exists. And yes, it makes me sound like a fantasy and blah, 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 but love does exist, and people can really want the same things and accomplish that and get it from each other and grow together and build together. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with somebody else of a different race. It can be. And if you find love in that way, cool. Like, that's great. That's amazing. But it also exists within the black culture, but you have to make sure that that person is on the same page, and that shit is hard. That shit's hard. Shit's hard. But for me, if I want the real, I have to believe that the real is real. And I can't succumb to the tragedies of this systemic racism that is really trying to impose these terrible notions onto the black culture. So, here's my last bit of 2 cents, because I'm about to wrap up. I went a little over today because I started a little late today. But the whole notion is, the question is, what are you leaving back in the last decade? And what are you going to take forward in this next decade? And the thing that I am 100% taking is love and prosperity. That is all I desire of my partner. That is all I will be giving to him, is to help him prosper and to grow our love. Like, that's all my plan is to do for this next decade, because I feel like you can't lose with that. Can't lose. It sucks. You might go through some shit, but that's life. That's why we're here. Like, you go through, like, the ups and downs. Like, that's the part that's low-key stressful, exciting, anxiety, blah, 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 blah. But we take ourselves through this because we want to live in this movie of ours that we call life. And so, to some degree, of course, I have to protect myself. I have to protect implementing boundaries, implementing understanding, implementing not necessarily in having expectations, but having standards. Meaning that if someone comes to me, I have an understanding of what I need in my mind, in my life, and I express that to you, and you don't take it seriously, my standard trumps what you're bringing to my situation. So I have to continue to rise above and keep you down here at level 3 as I'm rising to level 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, I have to. And so it sucks. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate. And I appreciate the conversation. But again, love and prosperity. That's all I'm giving to this decade moving forward. And I'm leaving a lot of the bullshit of things that are not helping me thrive and grow and become better in the last decade, including all sorts of relationships, including with loved ones, including with men, women, children, everybody, okay? Because you have to focus and make sure that you are good first. And then everything else will fall into place. All right, angels. I had a great time with you guys today. Thank you for those who participated and said hello. And thank you for engaging in Sex with Charli. This is the New Year edition. New Year, same me. Just a better me, all right? We ain't doing this New Year, new me situation because that's some bullshit. That's also why I'm leaving back in 2019 to between that last decade, that teens decade. I'm a 20-year-old now, all right? We out of that situation. I love you, angels. Tune in next week. I am going to post this shit on YouTube, so it is on YouTube, but I'll see you later.